It wasn't a goal of mine when I came to the university to have us be Division I in all sports. My goal in terms of coming to the university was to achieve excellence in everything that we did, and we had a Division I hockey team, and I wanted to achieve excellence with that hockey team. And we put resources into that program. We've made some difficult decisions to get to where we are now, but during that process, we had a committee looking at athletics, determining how does athletics fit into our strategic plan. We developed a strategic plan at the university called UMass 2020, but we really didn't have athletics as enough of a part of that. So we went back at it and we formed a committee of folks, including Vice Provost Dawn Pearson, to try to determine what role athletics should play over the next 10 years of the university. Well, about the same time we get involved in this discussion, America East, because Northeastern had left, they were looking and in fact contacted us and said, would you ever consider going Division I? Around the same time we were looking at our peer institutions, which are those institutions that we compare ourselves with and evaluate ourselves with that are like institutions. The University of New Hampshire, University of Maryland, Baltimore are among our peers, University of Maine. And when we looked at our peer institutions, after getting this inquiry, we found that just about all of our peer institutions are Division I. And in fact, we're one of the few peer institutions that we evaluate our graduation rates with, evaluate our student success rates, our research. So then I think from an academic perspective, we started looking at, well, gee, is this something that could enhance our academic profile nationally? And America East, as you may know, Dennis, is one of the, it's the third highest academic performing conference in the country. So it then became a question of, well, should this be part of our strategic plan, and how does it mesh with our wanting to be a nationally ranked university with a national, international academic reputation?
Is there any school out there that has made this move that you can model yourself after, or find out what they did right and wrong?
A lot of institutions have made the shift.
Binghamton did, right?
Yes, and there are challenges associated with it. Since Binghamton did it, they make it tougher to do. It's increasingly more difficult for a university to go from Division II to Division I. All kinds of impediments to it. And it means that we can't play for championship in most sports for 4 years. That means it's going to be difficult to recruit folks. Quinnipiac in basketball really had a difficult time till they got to the point where they could play for championship, and all of a sudden they beat BC and it helped put their basketball program on the map. So I will say that it would be rare to find a university that went from Division II to Division I with as much support for it as we have had. And by that I mean the Faculty Senate, the Student Government Association unanimously voting for this. So I think we made arguments to the campus that this will enhance our academic reputation. And that made it easier for the campus to embrace the idea of going to Division I. I think in a lot of universities around the country there's a little bit of a conflict between athletics and the academic side. Because of what's happened with hockey, enhancing our national reputation, 2 successful years going to the national tournament, I think that people on the campus began to believe, well, there is something to this. We're in the New York Times on hockey. We're ESPN. You read about UMass Lowell and you see UMass Lowell. So all these things came together at the same time.
Your venues that you have are
big factor. Two big factors. When you start looking at it economically, number one, we don't have football. And everybody in the community that knows me knows I love football. And everybody thinks, oh, Chancellor Meehan is going to bring football back to the university.